Hey everyone, today is March 16th, 2020. Today I want to talk about being a real estate agent, being in the new construction home industry, and the coronavirus, and if it is going to have an impact, if it's already having an impact on you. If you are in the industry and have any experiences, please comment back. I'd love to kind of hear your take on it. But I myself had a meeting today. And, things just kind of came down through the wire, as most of us know, at least in my area, and I live in Wisconsin. All schools over the weekend were announced that they are going to be pretty much closed indefinitely, at least through like the beginning part of April. There are certain businesses in our area that are closing down. So there's already... and that just happened over the weekend, so it was kind of weird, today being Monday, and I knew I had 2 meetings scheduled for today. It was kind of like, man, should I go to these meetings? What should I do here? Because, over the weekend, we were pretty much just quarantined to the house. We didn't really need to leave the house, so we didn't. So you kind of get in that mode of, you're feeling safe there, and, my wife, she stays at home, and her business is all done. She's a vlogger, garden vlogger, so she makes videos. She has a big presence on Instagram, so she doesn't really need to leave the house in order to do her business. Our 6-year-old daughter goes to school. Her school got canceled, so now she'll be home, which I know she secretly loves, along with her younger sister. So it didn't really affect things for us too much, other than the fact that I really didn't want to leave the house today because I hadn't left the house in 3 days. But I did. One of my meetings got canceled. I was supposed to show a house, a past home that we had built for somebody, to somebody that wants to build a version of that home. Well, the homeowner who initially said last night that, yep, no problem, we can go ahead and walk through the house, he got a hold of me this morning and said that he had to stay at work because of the coronavirus. He wasn't going to be able to get out and meet us at the house, and he very well just may not want somebody coming through the house. So that meeting got canceled. I just finished up a meeting, and I guess that's kind of what I want to talk about. Was definitely, there were some awkward moments with it, because I had to do things that I had never done before. Number one, I really did not want to have the meeting, and I sent over a bunch of information prior to the meeting. It's a lovely couple, and they're an amazing realtor that are looking at a new construction build of ours, and the home is just in the framing process, so they don't know what the finishes are going to be like. And so I sent them over all of the information on the finishes in the home. Well, it's one thing to see things on a computer screen, it's another to see them and feel them. So we had another house that we just have completed that has similar finishes. So we met at the house there, and what I did is, I walked out to greet them. I walked out into the street. I stopped about 15 feet away, and I said, normally I'm a guy who loves to shake your hands, but because of everything that's going on, we'll skip that part of it, and let's keep the 6-foot rule in effect. And of course, they were all fine with, they know what's going on. So I was a little worried about having to do that, and if they would be offended, by me saying that, but they weren't. I mean, they understand what's going on there. So if you have yet to meet with somebody yet, don't be shy or worried about telling somebody that you don't want to shake hands. It's okay to do that right now. The other part of it was the 6-foot distance rule was not easy, because when you're walking into a home, there's some tight spaces. We get into an area where we're all inside the master bedroom walk-in closet. Well, I'm kind of like, turning my head to take breaths. And, if somebody took one step towards me, I'd take one step backwards and try to maintain that buffer. So that was definitely very different. That is nothing that I've ever had to do before. Typically, I'm the type of salesperson that wants to be close to the client, but not, too close where it's uncomfortable for them. some people like to get really close and you're kind of, but I don't like to be one that seems like standoffish. I'm very, friendly and outgoing, and I still was, but I kept my distance. So I feel like the meeting went great. I feel great because I know that because of the distance that I kept, I wasn't in any danger of, contracting anything. If they even had anything, they did not seem like they were sick. There were a couple times where all of a sudden my throat felt dry, and this is something that normally happens. I talk a lot during these meetings because I'm asked a lot of questions. I have to explain a lot of things. So we're in the basement, and my throat felt a little bit dry, like where normally I would have coughed, no problem, just a little, and then that would have been it. But I didn't want to do that because I felt like if I did that, they might be worried and like, oh no, is he coming down with something? We better get out of here. So I did everything in my power to not cough, and luckily I was able to just take like a hard swallow and it didn't come up again. So that was good. There was one other time where I felt like I had to sneeze. And I did everything in my power to not sneeze. I didn't, thank God, because I just didn't want those things to worry anybody. So I was worried as much for what they thought of me as my own, like, I need to keep 6 feet away from anybody who's out there. And, as a matter of fact, I'm on my way back home right now. I'm going to work from home. There's really no reason for me to not work from home. I can get just as much done at home that I do with the model. I can get everything done that I need to just the same at home as I do at the model. I am still going to meet with people, but I will keep those rules into effect. And honestly, there's going to be people that are going to cancel on me. I had 2 meetings today. One of them canceled. So that is something that's going to be happening. And in the days to come, we just had all these school cancellations happening. There are businesses that are closing. There are restaurants that are closing. So as a real estate agent, as a new construction home salesperson, I guess I just wanted to throw out there what I'm dealing with today, the very first day after they've announced school closings, and people are raiding the shelves for toilet paper, which just is funny because they're not going to stop making toilet paper. Any of these stores that had bare shelves are going to be restocked. There's precautions that I'm going to take, and one of them is I'm going to stay home as much as possible because why not? Now, if I'm just a straight up real estate agent, that might be a little bit different because all I'm doing is showing houses and I'm meeting with people, and how is that going to affect you? Has it already affected you? Are you still planning on showing 10 houses tonight? I have houses that are listed, and we had 10 showings on one of the houses, and yesterday we had 2 showings on the other house, and I know the realtors that showed those homes were showing homes all day. So, I think that if I'm a realtor and I'm just showing houses, I'm probably going to take some extra precautions there. I mean, I don't think it's a bad idea to wear gloves, latex gloves, and after you get out of the house, you get into your vehicle, you take them off, throw them in a bag. Anything you touched is on that glove. Hand sanitizer is something that I had in my pocket. I'm normally somebody that is worried about keeping my hands clean. I do wash my hands a lot, but I'm not normally like a hand sanitizer freak. Well, now I'm going to be. And I have mixed feelings on the whole thing. So as of last Thursday, it still wasn't real with me yet. I would listen to certain things on the radio. We hadn't had a case in my city yet, which now we do. We have one in Racine. But last Thursday, it wasn't anything that I was at all concerned about whatsoever. Today and over the weekend, it's a lot different than that. And it's not so much myself or my wife or kids that I'm concerned about, because from everything that I know, I'm really not at risk. I could get it, but it's not really going to be anything more than a cold or maybe a flu that I would normally get. I very rarely get sick. I had a cold the beginning of this winter, and that's it. And I know I'm a little congested right now, but that's because I had a couple of beers last night, and for whatever reason, beer does that to me. So that's not anything other than that, so don't worry. So I'm not really worried about myself dying because of this, or even my wife or my kids. From what I know, kids are not as susceptible to this, but you know, my parents are in their 60s, and you know, I have a grandmother, and I have family members that are older. So I think I'm more worried about contracting it, maybe not even knowing that I have it, not having more than a mild cold, but then passing it to them. I think that's, for me, the bigger scare. I'm not concerned. I'm not worried that I'm gonna die. So I'm not gonna be going out there because I think if I catch this, I'm gonna die. This isn't the bubonic plague. There's no reason for people to be panicking like that unless you're in more of a high risk type age or have an illness. Then just stay in the house if you need to. But, you know, and I'm not the CDC. I'm not trying to give health advice here. I'm just giving my perspective on it. And what I'd like to do is put out videos, maybe not daily, but maybe every other day, because I think things are going to keep changing in my industry. And if you're in my industry, you may find this interesting. Overall, this is going to run its course, and there's not really much that we as a people are going to be able to do. It's going to run its course like any other disease or illness has, and we're going to be fine on the other end of it. Well, I'm going to keep you posted on what's happening with me and my career and anything that's being impacted here. I'd love to hear your comments. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you're in the industry, and I'll be back. Have a great rest of the day. God bless.